Well, hello again. I am about to teach you one of my favorite infusions and herbal remedies that exist for women on the planet. I'm not kidding. We are medicine women of our own life, and we need to begin to understand what herbs and what nutrition support us as women so that we can function in a way that allows our body to self-regulate. Self-regulating means our body learns how to unwind from stress, right? Or it learns how to regulate itself after a day that can be stressful. It learns how to support all the functions that are available in our bodies. So this recipe, and I'm going to give you a few options, is really good for the nutrition of the cells and the cellular activity in the body. It also balances estrogen and progesterone. It's important to understand how all these functions work in relation to creating formulas that are going to serve to either detoxify you or to rebuild you. This one is an all serves all purposes. So it's important before, say, going on a detox to actually rebuild your body so that you can detox what doesn't need to be there anymore. What's amazing about this kind of infusion is that it will allow the blood to detox and send out the toxins that no longer are needed in your body while rebuilding the tissue. And it's good anabolic builder. It helps to build proteins, and it helps you to stimulate all the nutrients that's in your food. I first learned this when I went to a herbology workshop on preconception physiology. And then I was also living with a roommate who was pregnant, and she was making this drink for herself every day. And I was just thought it was amazing to when I tasted it, when I got to make it, when I got involved in working with these herbs. They are part of my medicine cabinet. So I invite you to just take some notes. I actually have my notebook with me, so I might be reading from it. It helps remind me. So why would we want to build our progesterone? So progesterone is responsible for calming activity in the body, in the brain. And it's that also what we need to build tissue so that we can actually, if we want to, say, build nutrition for pregnancy in order to have a healthy placenta and healthy tissue down there to hold a child, then we actually want to build our progesterone levels. And estrogen, on the other hand, helps to having healthy estrogen levels helps to increase nervous system activity, which can reduce things like anxiety and stress. So it helps with our neurotransmitters, okay? And when our neurotransmitters are going off properly, we can think straight, we can feel more dopamine and serotonin, endorphins. All of this starts to regulate, and we can feel healthier and calmer and more alert at the same time. So this blend, and I'm going to maybe add a few things to it today, increases cellular activity and helps to balance and regulate these hormones in the body. It rebuilds tissue, blood cells, and helps us to at the same time eliminate toxins on a very gentle level. That's why it's actually safe if you're preparing for pregnancy, if you are pregnant. An infusion is just a soaking of herbs and allowing herbs to drench in a liquid for a long enough amount of time that it releases all their substantial nutrients. And so the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to have you get a jar, a mason jar. Okay, this one has herbs in it, but you basically want a mason jar that is about 24 ounces, 3 cups or more. I'm going to use this extra wide-mouthed one I have today because it seals very tightly. And let's see, I'm going to start off with the mother of all herbs, the nettle root. Nettle, and I have a cup here. So you can do this with measuring cups, or you can kind of proportion it in a way that feels good for you intuitively. Nettles is always my base, and the stinging nettles, if you've ever seen the plant, if you can't really touch it, it'll sting you because she's protecting herself from the nutrients This is like the plant of the gods. Okay, there are many. I don't know if you know that there are many sages, people who are known, say in the mountains in China, to live to be like 300 years old. And it was said, it has been told in folklore that they are living off the nettle leaf, that they're fasting except for drinking nettle, because nettle has all the nutrients that they need to live a long life. So I just share that with you, and it's it's nitrogen rich, it's mineral rich. It gives you the iron and magnesium and minerals that your body needs to sustain itself and to feel really strong. So when it binds nitrogen, and it also has amino acids that help you to build proteins in your body. So we're going to put in, and I always put in a little bit. I'm going to be doing about half a cup of all these other herbs, but I'm going to do almost a full cup of nettles in my tea today, in my infusion. So here we go. We're going to add some nettles in there. We're going to keep building off this, so I'm going to put it right down next to me. And as we begin to build, I'm going to go to Oat-straw. Okay, so we're going to put in some Oat-straw. I don't have so much left. Oat-straw, again, helps to get toxins out of the body. It is, it's milky, it smells good, it's calming, it's actually a nervine tonic. So not only is it really soothing for our nerves, it allows us to also release toxins in the body at a really, really gentle level. So I'm going to put some of the Oat-straw, and I'm sure, you know, there's a lot more information about all of the chemical constituents of each of these herbs, and feel free to share what you know about these herbs. I'm just giving you a quick kind of overview so that we can make this formula today. So I am, let's see here, I don't have quite a half a cup, but I'm going to put it in my half a cup. I'm going to try to do half a cup of all these herbs, so I'm going to put it in here. Let's kind of just fill it up and pouring it in here. So I want to try to get the herbs at least halfway full, if not 3/4 of the way full. We're going to go to alfalfa. Okay, alfalfa is what horses eat and live off of. Okay, so this has all the nutrients you need as well. And again, it binds nitrogen, and it's really enriching for the blood. It does not smell or taste good. You literally feel like you are drinking grass. Again, I usually actually put less alfalfa in my infusions, because I'm just not sometimes turned away by the smell and the taste of it, but I'm going to put a good amount in today, a little less than half a cup. And I'm just going to keep moving on. One of my favorite herbs in the whole wide world is red raspberry for women, okay? Red raspberry leaf. So it's not like a raspberry fruit, it's the leaf. And red raspberry, what it does is it tonifies the uterus, and it sends blood and nutrition directly to the uterus. It helps with contractions. So if you are premenstrual or menstruating, it helps with contractions of the uterus, because the uterus is releasing the endometrium lining, and sometimes it can kind of get congested there before it releases. So if you need help with this, allowing a smooth flow, I find that uterus is not only tonifying, but it is also allows the blood to flow and go where it needs to go. With that said, oh, I love, and the smell of it, it just smells feminine to me. There's something about it that just feels like a yes in my body. So this is another beautiful herb that I am adding to our infusion today. Okay, and most of these herbs you can get at your local co-op, and there's a lot of local like organic herb shops around in the Bay Area. Mountain Rose Herbs up in Oregon, you can order from them online. They have some of the best quality, and it's great just to stock up or go on an order, get an order of these with another sister, go in on it. You can stock up for an entire year in advance, and they really don't cost a lot. You know, if you can grow it or find a local source, that is optimal. So here we go, raspberry leaf. So we have nettles, we have Oat-straw, we have alfalfa grass, we have red raspberry. So the other big aha herb to put in the infusion, and this is actually a very kind of famous infusion now for women in the world of herbalism, and I'm just gonna add red clover. So we're gonna put in red clover. And actually, clover is something that does grow wild all over California. You just want to make sure if you're going to harvest it that it's in a place that is more pure and pristine, like not on the side of the road or anywhere where it could accumulate any type of environmental toxins. Red clover, again, is a blood builder and tonifier. And again, I believe it does help rid the body of toxin as it binds nitrogens. Nitrogens enrich the blood and oxygenate the blood and help to empty toxins out of the body. So to the best of my degree, it smells good and tastes good and has almost smells like there's a scent of it that reminds me of the smell of blood. Okay, and that's with red clover, because not all clover is really a rich deep red. This is actually more like purple. And there's slightly different qualities of all these herbs depending on where they're from and where they're grown. So I'm going to add in, red clover. Okay, so those are the main, I think 5 main herbs that you want to have in the infusion. If you need to go without one or the other, then that's okay too. If you don't find all of these herbs, then it's perfectly okay. If I go without any, then I usually take the alfalfa out and, or the Oat-straw. But with that said, I'm going to add a couple things into this just to make it ever more potent and personal medicine. So you can never go wrong with roses, okay? Roses are the all-around best enhancement to emotional health that it basically exists on the planet. You might feel otherwise, but roses are actually very astringent, and they are cleansing and purifying as well. So they cleanse not only the aura, but they're good for the blood and for the heart. And if you smell them, and if you can actually smell them and taste them in the infusion, it just brings an all-around, it gives it kind of like a shimmery essence of emotional support. So that's what I'm gonna just put a handful, 2 handfuls in. I'm not measuring it now at this point. Now I'm just kind of getting witchy and adding what I want to it. And I want to talk real quick actually about adding adaptogens and about why adaptogens are good for our health and for our reproductive organs and for our regulatory systems of the body. So they help to regulate the metabolic systems of the body that cast this hold on our hypothalamus gland, which again regulates progesterone, estrogen levels. And once we can anabolically get the right nutrients to the body, then we can balance our moods. We can sustain our energy more throughout the day, and we can support the functions that our organs are so diligently working to help us to become more powerful in our lives with. I hope that makes sense, and maybe I'm kind of trailing off at this point, but okay, so adaptogens adapt to your body's needs. And when you we don't always think about what our body needs, but these plants have an intelligence almost beyond us knowing what our body needs. These plants that are adaptive go in there and just bind to where our body is asking for more support, right? So even though we can't see it, the intelligence of the herb goes in there and just automatically starts to support it, which creates more substantial and sustaining energy. So I'm not a master herbalist or anything, but I have done some herbal apprenticeships, and I've undertaken some diets and some classes understanding herbs. And so I'm just sharing with you the secrets and the gems that I have today. So some herbs, adaptogenic herbs that are really great for our regulatory systems as women. Ashwagandha is my all-time favorite. Okay, so I get mine from Organic India, and this whole pound was like $24 from Organic India. It's actually really great. I'm gonna take, and I put this actually in my coffee, in my smoothies, wherever I can get it. At the end of the night, it helps me sleep better. So any time of the day, you can take adaptogens because they help your body if you need to wake up and it's time to get going. If you need to fall asleep, just listen to what your body needs. I'm gonna put in a big, a heaping tablespoon of it in there because we're gonna make a condensed version of the herbs. And so you could even put in two. You know, I I like ashwagandha because it helps to regulate not only my hormones, but it helps my immune functions to stay strong and sustained longer. It's a little bit different than rhodiola. Rhodiola helps when you're like really depleted of physical energy and feeling even depressed, then you might go for something like rhodiola. And I have in the blend, so the rhodiola helps to really get our energy levels up and our physical fatigue. It helps us to sleep better. And ashwagandha is kind of really good of an anabolic balancer. It helps to bring more progesterone for the body, and it helps to really allow us to access our adrenals a little bit better, which I get taxed out a lot with my adrenals. So all of this is just for you to kind of play around with. Okay, so I know that many of you have received the nourishing tea in the mail, and if you haven't yet, get in touch with me because I did send one out to everybody. The nourishing tea, so the secret to sending you that is that you'd have all the herbs condensed and mixed perfectly in the right bag. So if you don't have the time to go out and buy all these herbs and research them, you can just take a big handful that's in this bag and create an infusion with it. Or you can make daily tea. So you can just steep your own tea and have as many cups a day as you want. The thing with infusion is you're going to have such a condensed version of tea, and I'm going to show you in a moment. Once you get this full with water, you're going to have it sit for about 6 hours overnight, ideally. And then all you need is like 1 teaspoon in your tea, in your water. And all you need is 1 big heaping teaspoon 3 times a day if you're really trying to rebuild. If you just want to kind of play around with it, once a day is fine. If you're in a serious, like, I need to rebuild my health and I want to maintain my vitality, and right now in the program, we're trying to upgrade our vitality and our health so that we can sustain the practices that we need that will help us to break through from the patterns that are negative, that are detrimental, that are unhealthy in our life. So the more that we can nourish ourselves and be rebuilding right now and sustaining our energy, then we're going to have the strength to ward off the patterns that are no longer serving us. Okay, so this is why the tea and the herbs are actually important. So I'm going to put some of the nourishing tea blend into the pot, into the infusion pot, and we're going to mix them. So I'm putting 2 handfuls in there. So now I have a little bit more than half of the jar full. And I just wanted to share, there is rhodiola. There is not ashwagandha in the nourishing tea blend, but there's nettles, raspberry, rhodiola, alfalfa, oat-straw, red clover. And then additionally, dandelion, that's good for the liver. Lemon balm is another really calming nervine. And rose, which we already spoke of. Lavender. Lavender is calming and again astringent, kind of like rose, and you know, everything else speaks for itself. So we're gonna get started here. If you have any questions or any input or any favorite stories that you have about these herbs already that you want to add, please just post it on the Facebook page and share it with the sisters here, because like I said, I'm giving you a quick 20-minute intro to how to create an infusion and infuse your life with more love and support and vitality. So I have here some purified spring water that I heated. It's just barely under a boil now. Pouring water over herbs while it's still boiling can sometimes shock the herbs, and when they're shocked, they're not able to substantially release all the nutrients they have. So we're just going to have it under a boil, like a simmer, and here I'm going to put that right. Yeah, you can see I'm going to pour it in. And you want to fill it to the top. Ooh, yeah. So as you can see, you might have to let the herbs sit a little bit. It looks so beautiful. Okay. And if you see here, the herbs are kind of floating to the top, so I'm going to gently mix them down. And you can shake. Once you have the jar established, what you want to do is cover it and let it sit for the night. It can still be circulating a little bit of air. It doesn't need to be blocked off completely from having any oxygen flow. What I'm most likely going to do once I get the herbs to sit into the water a little bit better, I'm going to put the jar cover over it and shake it up. This is going to allow, again, for the water to be infused with more nutrients of the herbs. Okay. And even now, it's like I can bring a little bit more water to top it off. Okay. Beautiful. If you like, you can charge your nutrients underneath the moon or even under the sun. Why not? And with that said, once you let your jar sit overnight, in the morning it should be ready to just strain. You can strain out a little bit and bring it into a glass or into a mug with hot water. You can have hot water with it. You can make it into an infusion of a cold tea and add ice during the day. Personally, in order for this to really sustain itself in a way that is super nutritive and rich and fresh, is you want to drink it. You want to drink the whole infusion within, say, like 4 days. And when you're not using it, put it in your refrigerator. It'll stay good out over the counter for like a day and a half. But since it's been really hot out lately, I'm going to have you actually, if you're going to have it out for more than a day, start to put it in your refrigerator and then just use your spoon and take a spoonful out at a time. 1 spoon for 6 to 8 ounces of water is a great way to start to proportion the nutrients, because it's going to be so rich and infused that you want to actually dilute it. And sometimes diluting herbs helps your body to assimilate them even better. So with that said, thank you for being with me today. And like I said, if you don't have all these herbs readily available for you, use the nourishing tea to get started, and you'll find that it's fun and it's exciting, and it's actually very easy. Once you have everything you need, like you have your jar, you have a strainer, you have the herbs there, then you can easily get into a routine of doing this once a week or once every couple days, and having this tea readily available anytime that your body needs a little extra support throughout the day. So the more that you do this, women tend to find that their menstrual periods come earlier, or that they actually start to menstruate and they don't feel any cramps, that their blood comes out, it looks cleaner, they rest better, they feel more vitality throughout the day. You'll find more resilience to becoming sick. So all of these wonderful things and more. So I look forward to continuing to share the blessings of these rich feminine vitality practices with you all. If you have any questions, anything that you need some clarity on, feel free to write me, post it, and I send you all of my love and all of my support. Ashe.